Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jeff Jenkins, and I'm here with one of our attorneys, Stephanie Riddigstein, this afternoon. She appeared on an earlier show. You may have, or may not have seen it.
And hi, everyone. It's great to be back.
I think this is actually the 24th episode of our weekly Facebook Live series. I don't know if we get an award if we go for 6 months or something like that. I don't know what happens. So today we're going to be talking about COVID-19 and the effects that it's had on children who have to stay home. Because as we understand, in a lot of places, children can't go to school, or maybe they can just go to school part-time, and their poor parents are left at home with them trying to be parents, but they're supposed to be working, and now they're school teachers or something. I don't know. And Stephanie has been with us since 2004, so 16 years, and she has 3 children, and the oldest one is 12?
I have twins who are 11, and they're in 6th grade.
Okay.
And I have a 9-year-old who is in 3rd grade. We are in the thick of school, or lack thereof.
Okay, great. And Stephanie's husband's an attorney, and so, but for some reason, if anything has to be done with the boys, Stephanie ends up doing it all the time.
Isn't that what always happens?
Yep, it is. So
that's what happens.
So today, Stephanie's going to talk to us, as she did before, about her experiences having the children at home, things that children might need, like interaction with other children, playtime with other kids. How are they handling their work at home? Are they getting it done? Are they sitting there listening to the computer or fooling around? What can you do? So, Stephanie, do you want?
Yeah, well, I think last time I was here, my kids were supposed to be going back to school part-time, and they were supposed to go back on a hybrid schedule. About a week before school started, we were notified that our school would actually be 100% virtual through November 9th. We're close to November 9th, and we are anxiously awaiting a word that we are definitely, right now there's plans that they're going back, but until November 9th, I won't know for sure.
Okay.
But so my kids have been home 100% virtual learning from school. There have been a lot of, it's been great, and there's been a lot of challenges at the same time. I think that when we went virtual in March, it was complete shock to all the teachers, the schools, everything. No one knew what to do or how to do it. Since March, now when the school year started in September, unfortunately, like I said, we're all virtual now. I think the teachers have done an amazing job. They've really been able to pivot and do 100% online learning where it's effective. They have do lessons. It's live. The kids are engaged. They're able to talk to their teachers through the live chats that they're doing. And I think in that regard, it's great.
So you think the teachers are doing better?
I think the teachers are doing a great job. I think it's really challenging. And I think the problem is the job never ends because they have to keep recreating how they're going to teach every day. And they have to post a lot on their classroom. It's either Google Classroom or whatever they use. And then they're always having live chats. And there's problems that come with that. Of course, there's Wi-Fi problems. There's broadband problems. There's just a lot of technological problems. Fortunately, my kids, that has not been our problem. We have not had any technological problems. I think that in the beginning, if there were any, I think a lot of those kinks have really been worked out through the school. So that's been one thing that's been, we don't have to worry about that. In the beginning, my kids had a full day. They were going from 8 to 3 or 9 to 3:30 at home, full class load. And they were engaged as if they would be for a full day of school if they went to school, which made it a lot easier for me to do my job because I was able to focus knowing that they were doing what they were supposed to be doing. They were where they were supposed to be. They were occupied until 3 o'clock. About a month ago, they actually changed our school again to end at 1 o'clock. A lot of people believed that there was too much screen time for the children being on until 3:30. So what they did was they took away a lot of the breaks, and now they kind of go straight through. Now the challenges that come are the kids are done school at 1 o'clock. Being done at 1 o'clock and being done at 3 and 3:30 is a huge difference.
Right.
For a structure, in the home. Now every day I feel is summer vacation in the afternoon. 1 o'clock comes, they're done school. They don't have any homework.
Kids feel that way.
For sure. We have football games in my front yard where, we have friends over, we have snacks. It's great for them. It's just not the typical school year. It's just, there's nothing that's typical about it. I think that once 1 o'clock comes, they're done. They have no focus anymore. They don't want to do any more schoolwork, and it makes the afternoons much more challenging.
Mm-hmm.
I think a few ways people have combated the problem of not having enough school is they've created pods.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they go to one friend's house.
We talked about those a little bit last time.
And a lot of people are doing them. So what it is, it's a pod with similar age kids. They might have a teacher, or they may not. They might have a babysitter or a teacher who can help them in the afternoons. And they go from house to house, or they stay in one house, 3 or 4 kids, maybe once or twice a week. And it gives them somewhere to go. And it's a safe place where the kids have all not being quarantined together, but it's the same kids over and over. So they're not being exposed.
And you've been doing that lately with the boys.
We didn't do it because we had school until 3. So we were really covered. Lately, one of my sons has a play group every Thursday from like 3 to 5. And that's been great to keep him occupied in the afternoon. My biggest concern is getting them physical activity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really big on encouraging them to go outside. As long as the weather's good, they need to get some physical activity, whether that be, like I said, playing football in the front yard, riding their bikes. My older boys just started middle school, and they did cross country. Never ran before in their life, but I thought it was great. It was a great opportunity for them to get out, meet the kids in their class, and give them some physical activity at the same time.
Right. You could have them chase the new puppy around.
I know. Wait, the puppy doesn't know how to walk around the block, so that's what we did. Yeah. And we said it's good physical activity, anything to get them going. I mean, right now, PE is in my home. They have to use a yoga mat, and they have to follow a YouTube video. It's just not the same as getting out of your house, going to school, doing the PE class, even just walking from class to class. Here, I'm sure my kids, like many other kids, they get up, they come downstairs with 5 minutes to spare before school starts. Mm-hmm. Half of them are probably in their pajamas, and they sit in the same chair from 8 until 1. And it's just not good for anybody to do that.
No.
So we're trying to really make sure that they stay active, either through things in the community where they've had rec tennis lessons or anything that was outside.
I was going to ask, do they do anything with other children sports-wise? I mean, they're missing out on whatever types of sports they were doing at the school. Right. You said they ran cross country.
But that ended. It was 3 or 4 weeks.
My granddaughter plays soccer.
Right. So what do you do? So I felt really strongly. I really waited to sign up for any rec activities through my town because I was nervous it was going to get canceled as they did in the spring. But at the end, we did decide to sign our children up for soccer. So they all 3 play on a soccer team, which gives them at least a practice during the week and a game on Saturdays.
That's great.
Again, anything to do to get them off the electronics, out of my house, and to be with their peers in a safe environment, which is outside, which is really the most. And I think they've encouraged, they loved it. I think it was a great experience. They were so happy to be back with their friends.
Yeah. Stephanie, how have the teachers been? If your boys need any extra help at school, have they been pretty good about offering their time?
My understanding is now that, especially in our district where the school ends at 1 o'clock, a lot of the afternoon time has been fulfilled by having one-on-one meetings with the teachers if needed, and also small group sessions if necessary. They've been very, very responsive. I've been very fortunate. Anytime I've had to reach out to a teacher, they've always gotten right back to me. They've emailed me. Even though they only see our kids in a small little box on the screen, they seem to really do know who they are, and they're getting a feel for them, which I think is really important. And they are there for them for help. Yeah, I think the kids are missing out on live instruction in the regard where in a classroom, you have a question, you're more apt to maybe go up to the teacher's desk, ask for help. Some people are a little bit, it's harder to say something in front of the whole class.
Right.
So I think the private group has been really great. And also with email, they've been really responsive. So I think that's been a really nice thing. And I commend the teachers because it's really, as challenging as it is for us parents at home, it's very challenging for the teachers to recreate how they teach.
Yeah. Last time we talked about mom being a teacher.
Yeah.
Bankruptcy attorney and teacher.
So I don't feel as much of a teacher this year. I feel that they really are, like I said, not engaged, but they are able to do it all on their own this year. I don't feel I have to sit with them, babysit them. I don't feel as though I need to watch over them as much because the school is doing a better job. So, which allows me more time to work and to be more committed to what I'm doing and teach them the importance of that as well.
Yeah. Stephanie, what do they have coming up? And the school district that your boys go to is Cherry Hill. Of course, Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
So really, I think that the winter's going to be much more challenging. I think we've been really fortunate with the weather that they've been able to be outside as much as they have. I think that's going to really pose a new challenge. They usually play basketball. From what I understand, most of the programs around here are not going forward. So as long as it's not raining out, nothing wrong with some rosy cheeks and going outside. And we'll just have to work harder at keeping, I guess, play dates or having friends over so that they are occupied and having fun outside and running around.
Last time you talked about, I think, having a structure throughout the course of the day for the children. You felt that you needed to create, at this time we're going to do this, at that time we're going to do that. So they had a structure every day that they could adhere to to give them a better sense. And children like that. They like to know what the boundaries are, what the deal is.
I still agree with that. I still think structure is the best thing. They know they have to get up, they get dressed, they have to get on the computer at a certain time. There's no dilly-dallying, and they know what comes next. They know what's expected of them. They know when we're supposed to read. At my house, we read. Everyone has to read a certain amount each day. They know when that time period is, and they are really. Everyone does much better on structure. That's my biggest problem with the school ending at 1:00, but we've tried to recreate some kind of structure in the afternoons after that time period. I think the most important thing is to be able to be a little flexible, because you never know what's going to come up. A teacher may need to speak to a kid after class or something like that, but flexibility is important. But I do think children thrive on structure and having boundaries and knowing what's expected of them and what time they're to do things. I also think comes with structure is providing our children with engaging them and having them help with household chores, just to make sure that they feel that they're part of it.
Right.
They have plenty of time.
That's a good thing. Household chores.
There is plenty of time for them to help out and to do things. And now is the time to really get them involved in doing that and give them tasks. And I think it makes them feel important.
Right. Right. And you mentioned they're playing soccer, or at least two of the boys, just two?
All three of them are playing soccer.
Okay. And do they have to wear masks when they're playing soccer?
Great question. So the way it is, as soon as you get out of your car, you're supposed to have a mask on. Anytime you're not on the field, you have to have a mask on. So all the spectators, masks. You have to be socially distanced with your team, the parents on the team. If a kid is on the field, no mask required. As soon as they come off, if they're being subbed out, they have to put the mask on.
Okay.
The amazing thing is, Jeff, the kids are resilient. They just know. They do it. They don't question it. There's no problem about it.
Yeah.
This is their new normal. And I think if you show them that this is what you're doing, and this is what's expected of them, they do it without a problem.
Yeah.
I've really had more problems losing masks and making sure we have them with us than having them wear it. They're really, most kids that I've seen on the soccer fields, no one has given a problem about wearing a mask. In fact, if anything, you see people who forget to take it off when they're playing on the field, because now it's become second nature. Yeah. And I think part of that will be great when they do return to school, because they will be expected to wear the mask for the entire time they're in school.
Right.
There'll be no eating in the classroom, so there will be absolutely no reason to take off your mask. Yeah. So it's good practice.
No problems with kids getting sick. By sick, I mean getting the virus, or even though they might be asymptomatic, bringing it home and being around parents that are older. So great question. I think that we have not had any problems in the soccer field. The season's ending next week, and we've been playing since September. I know in the past, over the summer, several baseball teams, kids contracted the virus, or a coach contracted the virus, and then it led to a lot of people going to have to get tested. Maybe that was the nature of the game. It's a little bit different, but soccer, we've had no problems. And I have another child who's swimming, and they've adhered to strict protocol where there's no parents allowed in the gym. The kid enters and leaves the gym on their own, and social distancing in the pool and getting in and out of the pool and where you can stand. Right. So I think they've tried to, as far as I know, we've not had any problems with the two sports that we're doing. But I mean, it's out there. I think that we all have to live with the fact that it's not going away, and people are going to have it in our area, in school, if it's going to happen. And I do know that a high school near us, right before they were ready to return to school, several kids on one of the teams did contract the virus, and I think they weren't allowed to return to school for 2 weeks, even though school did start in person. But they have protocols in place,
and they have to learn to pivot and make changes to our schedule. And that's
Right.
what we've been trying to be fluid with all these changes that have gone on.
Do they do any testing, Stephanie, of the children around the soccer matches and so forth?
So no testing for cross country. Before they would go to practice or meet, they had to provide a form, and the form had to say whether or not you've been around anyone who's tested for COVID, whether or not you have any symptoms, and you also had to put your temperature. And similarly with my son who plays, who's doing swimming, every day when they get to practice, they take their temperature.
Okay. They
and
do
we
it
have
with
to
that
film.
forehead thing?
Yeah. Mhm. And but soccer, we haven't really had that. Not sure why, but it's been working. And like I said, it's almost over for us. But most places have a form you have to, like a Google form you have to complete before you attend. You have to certify that you've not been around anyone, that you're not symptomatic. You know, the hope is that parents, caretakers, everyone is cognizant if you're not feeling well to stay home.
Right.
Because that's the real fear, is that you're going to send your child to sick. Of course, asymptomatic, we can't help. We don't know. But if your child is exhibiting signs, you hope that your parent keeps you home and takes the necessary precautions, because that could really lead to a large outbreak.
And I guess that's one of the major concerns about children being around one another right now, either in school on a limited basis or having sports like you were talking about. And that would be catching the virus, even though it might not harm the child. In fact, the chances of that happening, especially with boys that are 9 and 11, is extremely remote.
Extremely.
But
you don't know.
But you've got parents here in the area that are as old as I am.
So I think that that's been one of the best parts about them being 100% virtual. I haven't had to worry about them seeing my parents or my in-laws because they're not around anyone. And when they do return to school, I think we're going to have to rethink how often we see the grandparents, because we've been pretty, knowing that we haven't been around exposed to anyone indoors.
Right.
It's been much easier. I think we might have to go back to wearing masks in when we see each other. We don't know. I guess that's been one of the things that's been really nice, is not being as worried.
Right. What does Cherry Hill have in store for the near future? Are they going to start having them go back to school?
So beginning November 9th, they're supposed to go back to school in a hybrid status. So what our district is doing is the school is 100% remote on Mondays. Then there's 2 cohorts, cohort A and a cohort B. Half the kids.
Sounds like the Roman legion.
Yeah, right. Half the kids will go on Wednesday and Friday, and half the kids
That's probably from all the Italians in Cherry Hill. They got that in there.
And the other half goes Tuesday and Thursday. Again, only a half day, so they're only there from 8 to 12:30 or 9 to 1, depending on what school you're in. And high school has a different schedule altogether. And from what I understand, the class sizes, because the classes are split in half, and there's still a percentage that have chosen to remain virtual 100%. I believe the class size are going to be less than 12 kids. So I think that, and so there is plenty of room to social distance in that classroom with the desks.
Right.
With a class that's set for 25 kids, when you only have half, I think there should be plenty of space for everyone to social distance. But beginning November 9th, we are supposed to go back, and we're, fingers crossed, anxiously awaiting that day. Just to get, I think the most important is the kids are missing socialization.
Exactly.
And that is really what I've tried to continue by having my kids maintain their friendships over the summer and now,
play with other
children, because without socialization, it's very lonely for them, and you don't want that to lead. That can lead to childhood depression and all these other. There's a lot of problems that are created by not being in a classroom.
Exactly.
And being in a safe setting for a lot of children.
Yeah, not only a lot of problems, but it seems to me that when a child goes to school, that's one of the major things you get out of school, is learning how to socialize with the other children, how to take instructions from a teacher.
Exactly.
You know, and the kids,
The
they're
kids
sitting at home with
thrive
their
on
computers, they're deprived of all those things.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to most. I know that there's dangers with them going back to school, but I think that the benefits for the children at this point outweigh the negatives. If they spend an entire year virtual, I think it's going to be devastating to a large percentage of our children, socially, emotionally, physically, health-wise. I think a lot of kids get meals from school, and it provides them with a structure. And it also makes it easier for parents who work.
So the November 9th thing, is that just going to be a test? Or they're going to do it unless it fails or something?
Right now, we're planning to go forward with that. and other schools in the area have already been doing that since September. So we're really hopeful that they will go back.
Mhm.
But until it happens, until my kids step foot in school, we don't know what it'll be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're really hoping, because I think that's the best. That's where they belong
Mhm.
for all the reasons that we just said.
And that's why you got the puppy.
I think I went crazy from quarantine and I decided to get a puppy. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A
But the kids,
lot of people have been buying pets. I know that we're getting off the topic,
Yeah.
kind of, but it's true.
it's true. A lot of people, I've never seen so many pets in my neighborhood
Mhm.
as we have now, but also really great for the kids because
Yeah.
they
Oh,
do.
absolutely.
I think they absolutely adore
Mhm.
her. So hopefully it's hopefully it goes well. That's a good experience for all of us.
Good.
So.
I think we're in pretty good shape, unless there's something that we didn't cover.
No,
that
I
you
think
wanted
most
to
important
mention.
is getting them to maintain socialization, structure, emotional support. If your child is depressed and you can tell that they're missing out on being with their friends, I think it's important that you speak to your healthcare professional, get the help that they need before it gets too late. Teenagers, this is a very difficult time for them.
Right.
I do limit my media use, the kids' media use after school. However, they are allowed to use it to text their friends because I think that's important, again, just to stay in contact.
Sure.
That's how kids these days maintain their friendships. So I think it's just keep up the physical activity, keep them outside as much as possible, keep them with their friends, socialization in a safe manner, and give them the emotional, physical, and all that support that they need.
If you have any questions, you can ask your father, the pediatrician.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
So it was great seeing everyone today. I
Yes,
hope to
it
be back
was.
soon.
Yeah. Thank you very much for tuning in. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week at 2:00 Thursday afternoon, when we'll have another hopefully interesting topic, just like today was. So until then, take care and God bless.
Have a good day.